What's up, millionaires? It's your boy Millionaire E coming at you with the TV show episode review. Now, the TV show we're going to be talking about is Flash, episode 17, season 7. Now, before we get started, spoiler alert for anyone who's not seen the episode. I don't want to spoil it for you. You got to watch it yourself. Now, as a child, I would always love watching Flash. Every single Tuesday, coming back from school, or even waking up on Tuesday morning, like, oh man, Flash is about to come on. We're going to see something real cool. I'd come home so excited. You hear the I am Barry Allen. It was just awesome. And it's just like that magic for me. What I feel like is gone in these Flash episodes. In these like last Flash episodes. Because it's just like, it's been like, I was annoyed in this episode. And I'll tell you the reason, some reasons why I was annoyed. But yeah, I was irritated in this episode. Now, so the first thing we've got Impulse and Nora. Now, Nora seems to be acting more of an adult in this episode. While Impulse seems like a flat-out child. He does things that are reckless. He does things out of emotions. And from what it looked like, he and Flash didn't really have a good, hey, shaking hands or anything. No, they were always bickering. So that's the one thing. And I liked the Impulse. It's just how he's acting in the show. I like the Impulse in the comics and then also in, the TV series Young Justice. But I'm just like, he's acting just childish. And then another thing that's like kind of getting me kind of confused is what we see in the episode is we see Nora and Impulse chasing Godspeed. Now this Godspeed gets on the treadmill and runs and basically goes into the past. Now when he gets to the past, he loses his speed and his memories. So he doesn't know who he is. Now, Impulse and Nora follow him in there. And the reason why it's confusing to me is because he goes in there, but there's still Godspeeds, like clone Godspeeds running around. And when they finally see Impulse, they start chasing Impulse. And no one else. And these Godspeeds, we gotta forget, they're fighting. They're, looking for speed. And I'm like, what in the world? They want to be free? I'm like, that's not really talked about. So then we've got Scott. Well, Joe and Kramer. And Kramer, I'm like, they've just been saved because, they took down the dude, Adam, who was hunting them. But she's filing a police report. And she's the police officer, government person. And what's confusing to me is because she doesn't say anything about her dying. Because Adam, he's like, the Christian Kramer I knew died. And she's here, and I'm like, what are you? A robot? Are you alien? Mirror person? Replica? Clone? I'm like, it doesn't make sense. And nothing's like dug into that. It's just like, nope, we ain't leaving that. So then another thing, then we've got Chester. And I'm like, Chester, he's a cool dude. I love him in the episodes. I love him coming into the show. I remember watching this episode. I was like, oh man, that's so cool. But in this episode, I was annoyed at Chester. I was feeling to be like, Chester, shut your mouth. Put the electronics down and talk to this girl. Because this man was literally like, he was sitting there, he was walking in there, and they had to build this machine that works, basically that's powered by Allegra's powers. Now, if y'all don't know, Allegra is feeling a bit depressed because her cousin Esperanza died by something which is not really answered. It's just she's dead, but it's like, how did she die? So, I don't know. So then, she's feeling all depressed, and he's all like, oh, what's up, Esperanza? I'm going to have to use some of your superpowers to power up this machine. And Esperanza's sitting here with her coffee, and she's like, whatever. Acting like super depressed, and Chester doesn't even know anything. He doesn't even look at it, and is like, oh, wow, she's depressed. So I'm like, bro, what the heck, bro? Talk to her. Put down the machine. And he kind of opens up to her. And she's like, no, I'm fine. And then he kind of tries to open up, and then Flash comes up, and he's like, well, the machine's not working. And then Flash trying to shoot his electricity into the kind of machine to power it up. But, it ends up failing. And then we get this thing where it's like, basically, the kids, like Impulse and Nora, they can't tell anything that happens in the future. But then the Godspeed says, bring us the adversary. We have Jay Garrick. And what we find out is that Jay Garrick is like basically Flash. Well, Jay Garrett is apparently Impulse's uncle, and he dies, and so that means like Godspeed is like the reverse Flash to Flash, but Godspeed is to Impulse. So he's Impulse nemesis. And Impulse and Nora, they couldn't tell them this because it would ripple the future. But then we got the Godspeed. He's like, we have Jay Garrett. So then, Impulse is like, I'm going to run them based on emotion. Basically, it's a trap. So, he's in there. He gets trapped. Now, Flash goes in there, and Nora, she runs away, takes all of the 6, and there's only one left. And that one is trying to take out Impulse, and then he's trying to take out Flash. And Flash runs and phases straight through him. Now remember, he phases straight through him. And in the first part of this episode, when they were in the future, Impulse and Nora, they were running after Godspeed. Impulse phased right into Godspeed and took him out. Now remember that, because here's where it gets confusing. So Jay, he's knocked unconscious, and he's like, they took my speed, I couldn't do anything. And also, why is Jay alive? This dude's supposed to be dead, and he died in the crisis. It's not explained how he's alive. I'm like, seriously, bro, what the heck? So then we get to this part, and he's like, yo, that move, how'd you learn that move? And Flash is like, I learned it from my son. And I'm like, bro, you and your son have not had an interaction where he showed you that move. He did that move in 249, and you weren't in 249. You were still in the past. How do you know that? I'm like, he learned all new skills and stuff. Yeah, I learned it from my son. Where? Where did this happen? I didn't see it in the episode. And then also, they're having this thing where they're sitting here trying to give this man, they're like, we have the key. We have August Heart. We're trying to, give him his memories. I'm like, y'all are stupid. Why are y'all giving the memories to the man who is Godspeed? If you give this man all his memories, I knew he was going to be evil from the start. I'm like, you give this man his memories. He's going to turn into Godspeed and take all out. I don't understand why you're saying this is the key to everything. And I'm like, it's just a whole bunch of nonsense, because it's like, you've got the Godspeeds who are fighting each other. Then you've got the Godspeeds when they, literally, they'll stop fighting and then chase Impulse. And I'm like, bro, what the heck? Come on, explain some stuff. And that's why I'm kind of like, it was having me annoyed. I was annoyed in the episode, watching the episode, because I was like, what the heck is this? Why is he alive? How did you learn that move? Where you had no indication of learning that move from Impulse, because he didn't teach you that move. And not to mention, Barry and Iris are acting like basic helicopter parents, because they see their children get hurt, and they're like, no, you're gonna be benched. Sit down. I'm protecting you. Well, they're adults. See, like Nora's like, I'm 26 years old, Mom. So I'm like, it's just, for me, I feel like it's just a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm like, why? Explain this. And I'm like I said in the first part, it feels like the magic is gone. It seems just more like oh my gosh. Well, how do you learn? How do you teach me that? How did this happen? Like I'm saying. But remember, guys, subscribe. And if you're subscribed, click that bell icon to be notified for more videos. And like the video, share it with your fam. And I'll see y'all later, millionaires. And I hope y'all have a blessed day. Bye, y'all.